Joining us now is Nevada Congressman Stephen Horsford. He is chair of the Congressional Black Caucus, who invited Tyre Nichols' parents as guests tonight, as well as siblings and parents, family members of a number of other people who have been killed in police violence. Congressman Horsford, I really appreciate you taking time to be with us tonight. Thank you, sir.
It's my honor. Thank you for having me.
We were talking here at MSNBC earlier tonight in the immediate aftermath of the president's speech about that moment in the speech that then went on at length. And the president talked about this issue not as a sort of dance card punch, as a thing to get through on a list of policy, on a list of long policies. He spent a long time, and certainly the most emotional time of the speech, in an extended discussion about the sort of grand moral empathy required of us as Americans to try to fix this problem. It was a surprising, I think, turn in the speech. I think it was very effective. I wonder what you thought in the room tonight.
I cannot thank President Biden and Vice President Harris enough for speaking to the hearts of the American people today, of taking the plea of the mother of Tyre Nichols and so many other families who have lost a loved one or had a loved one traumatized because of their interaction with law enforcement. And he was very clear that this is not a Republican problem or a Democratic problem. This is a public safety issue. This is not something that only some of us have to fix. This is something that all of us have to work together to address. And I commend him, and I think it's going to really help us as we move forward in passing substantive public safety and accountability reforms in Congress.
Congressman, this is Joy Reid. I wonder, when having the families there, having Tyre Nichols' mom and dad, also George Floyd's brother, Philonis, was also there. What kind of conversations are CBC members having with the families about how realistic the timeline is for actually passing police reform, given the makeup of the House of Representatives, given the raucousness of the right-wing caucus that controls that body? Are you all having conversations with them about the likelihood that this will not be immediate and that it will be very difficult to pass this kind of legislation this year?
Well, you're right, Joy. Look, we're going to keep working to pass George Floyd justice and policing for as long as it takes. But that doesn't mean that we cannot get meaningful reforms enacted now around public safety and accountability that the families are calling for. Earlier today, we did do a roundtable discussion with more than 15 families. They were guests of members of the Congressional Black Caucus who had, in one way or another, have been affected by police brutality in this country. And every one of them told us, do what you can, work with who you can, tell us who we need to talk to. Even in the course of leaving the State of the Union, Mrs. Wells, Tyre's mother, was stopped by a number of my colleagues, including Republicans. And she told them, don't just pray for me, I need you to act. And the Congressional Black Caucus is leading this effort. We've already reached out to the civil rights organizations, to faith-based leaders, to executives in corporate America. It's going to take all of us, as I said, because this is not a black or brown or white issue. This is a public safety and accountability issue, and all of us can do something. As the president said today, we can do big things. We did it on gun safety. We did it on infrastructure. We did it on bringing American jobs back in manufacturing. Clearly, we can do it to keep our communities safe from violence, particularly police-related violence.
Congressman, I think it's fair to say that the president's remarks tonight live in their own sort of status here. But part of the reason that we are having this discussion tonight about this part of the president's speech, and part of the reason that this is going to be remembered as part of the State of the Union and this will have ongoing policy resonance, is because the organizing work that you and the Congressional Black Caucus did to get those family members there. You changed the conversation around this entire speech and this address with that organizing effort. I have a feeling you knew that might be be the impact if this worked successfully. It was a remarkable act of politics in its own right.
It wasn't so much about politics. Yes, it took some strategic thinking and execution, but I'll tell you this. The president called. I talked to him earlier last week. The vice president called. They immediately took us up on our request to have a meeting to discuss how the president could use this moment of the State of the Union to really center this issue of public safety and accountability in a way that has never been done before. And I commend him for that. But make no mistake, this is not for politics, because there are lives on the line. And every day, black people and brown people fear for their children when they leave our homes, whether it's going to a park or being stopped in a traffic stop. But at no point should someone lose their life as a result. And so we're asking the same thing that everyone else is asking, for our communities to be safe. And we can do this. We can do it by supporting law enforcement, but calling for the end of bad policing, which should not exist anywhere in America. And I'm asking the American people to work with us and to call out to those members on the other side of the aisle to work with us as well.
Nevada Congressman Stephen Horsford, chair of the Congressional Black Caucus. Sir, thank you for helping us understand tonight. Thank you for being here.
Thank you very much.